afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And I'm Mike Delisio.
Welcome to the end of day 3 of the Spring Spectacular, sponsored by the World Series of Board Games. Speaking of coming, you should come to a con, really, if you've never been to a con. World Series is a great one if you want to test your mettle against other great gamers, or if you just want to do some open gaming. And it's in September, and if you're like, that's so far away, well, Dice Tower East is in July, and you could go to both.
I think you should go to both.
I really think so.
Yeah.
If I had advice to give to you, is go to both.
You can test your mettle at Dice Tower East and see if you're even good enough to show your face.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. You can go there and not compete also. That's the lovely part of it.
Yeah.
You can go to the World Series of Board Gaming and just go for the open gaming.
Absolutely.
You
know
can
this
also
because that is what
we do.
I would never think to compete.
And there's different levels of competition as well. So you can definitely find something that fits what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's true. They have lower stakes things. And
Right.
Yeah.
A little more chill.
All right, let's talk about sci-fi. All right,
Yes.
so today we're doing our top 10 sci-fi games. Now, if you noticed, 2 days ago, me and Z weren't in it, but you were. We did top 10 space games. And I kind of separate these out because most times sci-fi is space, going off into space. Now, there has to be some sort of definitive line because everything technically is in space.
Yes.
We're in space right now.
Correct. And there was even a joke during the space games list, which I'll get back to in a second, that Earth could have been a game because, the Earth is in space. Also, I don't hate space games. I was misrepresented.
Okay, well,
I love sci-fi games, though. I
Thanks.
really
I
do.
love sci-fi as a
positive
genre.
vibes.
Just
I really
across the board, I love sci-fi.
there's not
yes.
a lot of sci-fi games that are outside of space. So what I did with mine was I confined mine to either a single planet, if it's happening on a planet.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
That sounds like a space game, but okay.
No!
Yes.
I don't have any of that.
No, you have no. I don't have anything.
Yeah, no, it toes the line at the very least.
Don't care.
Yeah, if it happens like on a planet that you got to by way of space, that feels like a space game a little bit.
All of these to me are
Like Nexus Ops,
Earth-based.
right off the list.
Yeah.
Dune Imperium, right off the list.
See, I disagree on that. They are both eligible for this list. Neither on my list, so I'm okay.
You're a filthy liar. If neither one of those is on your list, then I don't know what you're complaining about.
Well, we'll find out at the end who has the purest lists.
I am okay. I am the least confident on this top 10 that I've been in a long time.
That's what I like to hear.
That's carte blanche
That's what I like
to
to
drop
hear.
a hammer, Mike.
Yes, I know.
Woo, sharpen your hammer.
But I'm in there. What?
I wish,
I'm in there
yeah.
for 2 reasons. One, because you're going to get crap on at least half my games for that reason.
Love that.
You're going to really give me crap. But even on the ones you don't give me crap, I'm worried that I've missed a lot.
I'm worried about that as well. I'm worried that I missed some that are going to be like,
Also, Star Wars is sci-fi. I'm just kidding. I didn't put any Star Wars games on my list, but also Star Wars is sci-fi.
Correct. It's set in space. That's why you specified
I
not
know, but
in
then you're going to have
space.
someone go in there and be like, technically, it's science fiction, and there's no science in Star Wars. It's just fiction, therefore it's fantasy.
What about midichlorians? Thank you.
That is science. That's a fact.
Thank
He
you, George
blinded me
Lucas.
with science.
Well,
Here's
there's
the
also
thing.
like
we hope
one
this
thing.
gives you some good
Yeah.
games to talk about.
One
Right.
thing I did not put on my list, for example, and I considered was Pandemic. Pandemic is technically
2019, it
the
was science fiction.
scenario.
2019, it was science
Well, no,
fiction.
the scenario is science fiction for super viruses
Right.
devastating the planet. That's a
Cure,
science
correct.
fiction.
Cure.
Kurt Douglas. Yeah, that's a science fiction scenario.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't really.
It didn't like quite feel like it fit on this list, but that sort of would have worked, I think.
I will tell you for
I'm
this
really
list,
nervous
for
about
the
this.
organization of this list, I just picked what I thought were the coolest sci-fi themes. Like, really, that's what it was. Like, it's not like there are some games on my list that aren't in my top 100.
Yeah.
Just because I really love the theme, but it's not necessarily the game that I'm gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tried to spread out the love a little bit.
Yeah.
To the, like you said, the settings are.
Right.
Or you're into whatever. This one might be
Right.
up your alley.
Right,
yeah,
right.
cool. You're in trouble already, man. It's too late. You're on the horse. Now you got to keep beating it. You got to keep beating that horse.
Let's just go through this. Here we go.
All righty, let's kick off this list with my number 10. And this is a game that is not thematic in its mechanisms at all. But I love the theme that they used for this. This is a card game, but it's based in a time when apes and other primates have become, well, they're already sentient, but they've become more and more powerful. It's almost like a Planet of the Apes type thing. This is After Us.
Really?
This is a great theme.
It's a great cover. That's about it.
No. I like the art throughout the game. I think it's fine.
I like this game, actually, but there's no theme in it.
There is a theme to it.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said there's no
No.
theme in it. I know you said there's a theme to it.
There's
Right.
a theme, yes.
Yes. And I love...
No. They went to Vincent to trade, and they were like, what do you've got sitting around already? And he was like,
1,000%.
I drew a lot of monkeys recently,
Right. Yes.
and they ended up not wanting the commission job, and they were like, well, take it.
No. I think I strongly disagree. If you're going to
There's
take...
no way.
I don't care if it doesn't... This is not top 10 most thematic games. This is top 10
but it has to
sci-fi
feel like
themes.
sci-fi.
No, it doesn't. It has to have
I feel
something...
better about my
It
list.
has to have...
My confidence has risen.
No. It has to have a world that is... at least visually evocative. And I think this is.
I agree with all of that. I would love to watch this movie.
Uh-huh.
I just don't think this game feels in any way like science fiction.
I told you this was not about whether this game I think is
It's also
a great
game. I like this game.
I like it
Did
too.
you like
I gave it a pretty high rating, but it's
the
not
most
thematic. Actually, I gave it a
solitary
very
game
high
in
rating.
existence, but
yeah,
it's fun.
It's a really good game. But no, I love this theme. I love this idea of kind of the Planet of the Apes, and that there was a Planet of the Apes movie. I think it was a Kevin Wilson game, but it wasn't that great.
Right, okay.
I really like this theme a
just
lot.
like the movies.
And so I like this because I think this is the closest that has come to kind of evoking that through its artwork.
What a good pick.
Thank you.
We should be encouraging
Thank
of
you.
each
It's
other.
also my number 10. And I think you are leading the witnesses. Now you've got people that are trying to slam on me in the live chat, and it's because of you. I think if you had not said a word, they'd have been like, you know what? This is a great idea, Mike.
I don't want to say
I
you
hadn't even thought
look,
of it.
Mike. I don't
What a
want to say
brilliant
you
pick.
were wrong in both your sci-fi lists, but you were wrong in both your sci-fi lists.
Mike is
now.
100%. Mike Heller. Does Mike think monkeys aren't real?
Mike said Star Wars
No,
was
I
fantasy.
know they're real, but I don't think that they use cellular phones.
Okay. Well, I hope not.
Wait, you're telling me in this future there's service?
No, but they have the phones.
They have the phones, right?
Calculators. They
They're
were like, boobs.
Nah.
They hold it upside down.
They're also talking.
So stupid.
They're like, have you played this
I
game
think in
called
the future, I'm
Snake?
like,
Have
you
you
guys
seen
have
this
never
game,
seen
Snake?
Monkey's mind's blown.
Turn it upside down.
Oh,
Yes.
my goodness. Okay.
That's where we started, folks. Here we go.
Okay. My number 10 is So Clover. No, I'm
Yes.
kidding. No, my number 10 is a racing game with a really fun steampunk theme. This is Steampunk Rally.
No, this game is not thematic at all. Trash. All right, it's a good pick.
I wondered about this one because I wondered if steampunk is sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
I'm
so
not sure it is. I think it's its own genre, but okay.
it falls under the sci-fi umbrella, I would say, you know. Anyway, in this one, you're putting together your own racing machines, and they're all sorts of kooky sci-fi contraptions and inventions, and you're racing them. There is Steampunk Rally. Steampunk Rally Fusion, I think, was kind of a follow-up set on
They
Mars.
just like shoved everything in one box.
Yeah.
You showed the space game up there in the cover. That was a bad choice.
Yeah, it's Steampunk Rally is the one I picked, but I guess Fusion's the one that got thrown up there. It's close enough. This is a follow-up to that, I want to say. And I like it. I think it's a neat concept. It's dice drafting. You feel like you're both racing and building the machine at the same time. So it takes two very separate sort of ideas, but you're doing them at the same time. As opposed to like, okay, part one of the game is building, part two is racing. That's a little too Galaxy Trucker for me.
Yeah.
I want to do both at the same time. So my number 10, Steampunk Rally. Or Fusion. That works.
If you want to go to space, sure.
Yeah, good point. Jules Verne is sci-fi, and he's steampunk. He invented steampunk. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to be real good from 9 to
Steampunk
9 to
Rally
6.
needs more monkeys.
I agree.
But 10.
Who do you
okay,
think's
so
going to
here's
build
the deal.
these things?
It can't be about space if there's no spaceships in it.
There can be spaceships in it and not
Whatever.
be about
When
space.
I say space games, I'm talking about going from planet to planet. There's none of that in this game. This is Cry Havoc. It's on a singular planet. That's not space. Where's the space in that picture?
Behind him.
There's no space in the board.
There's also no Earth on that board.
We didn't say non-Earth. That wasn't in the description. Let me check my notes. I didn't write any. Here's
Cry Havoc.
Cry Havoc is it's a
don't have
little
a
like
huge-
Avatar.
I don't have a huge issue
There's
with
4
this.
different factions you're fighting on planet. Well, he said no Nexus Ops, and that's kind of what this falls
This is
under.
Nexus Ops, basically.
It's been a long time since I played this game, but one of the things I loved about it was just how different the different factions are in it. One faction is native to the planet. The other's a bunch of robots. The other are humans, and you're all fighting over various resources.
Right.
And you have different victory conditions and different abilities. It's a very Portal-esque game, as in it's a lot of effort to understand it. Grant Rodiak is the designer of it. It's closest to probably Rising Sun in some ways. It has a funky combat system where you can capture opponents, similar to Rising
Yeah, you
Sun in
could
many
program
ways.
your combat, and you could lose but still have bet on winning. Like you lose units and have still come out ahead in the war a little bit. It's kind of like Rising Sun, yeah.
Okay, I've never played this one.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is one that it's 10 on my list because it's fallen a lot for me. When it came out, I was super jazzed about it, and I really love the theming of it. I love the different factions fighting, but it's still a neat sci-fi game to check out, and you probably can get it pretty cheap these days.
I would imagine,
That
yeah.
is Cry Havoc.
Okay.
Please tell me there's monkeys in this game.
I don't believe so.
But you're not sure, though.
I'm not positive.
Arc Nova.
Not positive, but I'm feeling relatively confident that there are no monkeys in Giant Killer Robots Heavy Hitters. This is a game that is all about the table presence, right? There's probably, I don't know, I'm not a miniatures gamer really at heart, and this kind of gives more of that feel, but this is about exactly what it says. Big old giant robots that are either trying to tag buildings
I never played this one, actually.
or shoot each other with these over-the-top weapons. It has a really kind of...
Wait, you're tagging as in graffiti?
Yeah, it's sci-fi, right?
Yeah,
There's
in
no
the future-
graffiti, you know.
in the
Robot walks
future-
around, he blasts someone in the smithereens. He's like, gotcha.
Let's not
Yeah.
get caught up with the graffiti. It's mostly about shooting each other, right? Just destroying each other, line of sight, that kind of fun stuff. And it does have a pretty unique card system where it's initiative based. And so you're going to be playing out these cards, but they're going to trigger off in an initiative value, and you don't know what your opponent is playing, right?
Okay.
It's really a 1v1 game. I think it may only be a 1v1 game.
I just pulled this from the Dice Tower library because
It never
nobody
gets
ever played
played.
it.
It
and it's such
never
a
gets
huge
played.
Box.
I
It's
used
taking up
to-
so much space.
Yeah, I used to own it, and I no longer own it. It's a huge box, but I will tell you, the miniatures are incredible because it's by Weta Workshop.
Right, which is a weird company to make a board game.
Yeah, and they really supported this. Like
Briefly, I think they lost money on this.
I assume they lost money on it
Yeah.
because again, those minis are like, yeah, they're really quality, pre-painted, the whole nine.
This was ahead of its time for sure.
It was, and so I love this theme too. Just the idea of these giant killer robots going around, this kind of a
It's like Mech
cyberpunk
Warriors kind of thing, Mech Assault, any of those.
Yeah, with these big over-the-top weapons and chain guns and.
That's a game I could have put on my list. All right, well, I just thought of one.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
I'm thinking of many games probably as you go through because I guess the entire BattleTech series can fit into this
Sure.
scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, boy, but that's in space. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
there you go. My number 9, Giant Killer Robots. Heavy hitters.
My number 9 is a very small game compared to that game. This is a
Tiny
solitaire.
Epic Mech.
Well, there
That
was.
would have worked.
That was a game.
Tiny Epic Mechs
But
would
it
have
was
worked.
not a good one.
It was not a good one.
It is a dice-driven game, a solo game, and it is a what-if scenario. What if aliens invaded Earth? That's what this is about, and it's a game called Under Falling Skies.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is allowed.
This is not in space. This is set on Earth.
Where are the spaceships coming from?
The sky.
Look at that sky. It goes into space.
I'd argue that this is.
I'm okay.
towing,
Here's the thing. I'm okay with this.
I agree.
This is legit.
I agree, but this toes the line as much as Cry Havoc does.
Okay, just get
Cry
on
Havoc
in the future.
Cry
okay?
Havoc is on another planet. This is science fiction. Like we're being attacked
By aliens. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's good.
You don't know that Cry Havoc's on another planet. It could be ours 1,000 years in the future.
Where are the monkeys then?
That's right.
Answer me that.
Where are the monkeys who run the show?
I need to play this one. I still have not played it yet.
It's a very
it's
good,
good.
dice-driven game. Some
Really
nice
good.
mitigation, some good push your luck. You're trying
Yeah.
to like build up your defenses. It feels a little video gamey. You know, you're trying to line things up just right, take
Yeah.
out the guys coming at you. So it has that old Defender. You know, what is that game? What video game? The
Galaga?
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Space
Invaders.
Yeah, it's closer
yes.
to that because they're coming.
Space Invaders. It has a little bit of that feel.
Yeah.
And it's a great little game. Lots of replayability right out of the box. Very, very cool. Solo only, like I said, but and a big, fairly small box for how much is in it, but really replayable, super fun. So, Under Falling Skies, number 9 for me.
I also just want to point out that every single game on my list is listed under sci-fi on Board Game Geek.
Well, yes, but so
Unimpeachable list.
that's not the point. They're all. I'm not worried about that. I
know.
think
Oh yeah, that's been a thing. Yeah, it's been a thing throughout
let me-
these. Since we've done the videos, it definitely looks like Tom is manipulating these with slightly smaller hands.
sometimes they are my hands, but those are not.
Yep.
Those are not as smooth as mine. Anyway, all right, my number 9. I don't really like as much as Z does the post-apocalyptic future thing.
I hate
I
it.
like different post-apocalyptic future type things.
Good ones. Like
Not
things
the
are
Mad
good.
Max ones as much. This is one based on artwork. The game was based on artwork by Max Prentice, who's famous for this style art. He does this futuristic type art.
Okay.
And this is from Sophie Wagner, and this is The Boldest.
Oh,
I really like The Boldest.
I
This takes
love the look
place
of this game. Yeah.
in the future, but it's also a really fun game. You're basically going out and scavenging. You're almost like it almost feels like the borrowers versus machines, because there's robots out in the forest that you need to go and collect parts for and come back, and you're playing these different cards. It's like a hand management style game. It's very simple, and the artwork really comes to life. I mean, I'm always nervous when they're like based on the artwork of something.
Yeah.
Although this is not the only game on my list that is this theme.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
I doubt this is more thematic than After Us, but I love this pick. I think it looks great.
It is more thematic than After
Is
Us.
it?
Because you are actually going out and collecting the stuff. And After Us, I'm connecting lines. Look, of all the games on our list today, without looking at any more of mine, any more of these, or any more of Mike's, After Us is the least thematic by a mile.
right,
and I
we'll
know
find
why, because there's negative theme in it. When you play it, you actually forget some
Negative
things.
theme.
Space
That's
chess.
definitely a thing. Speaking of sci-fi,
If
let's
I play
talk about
After
negative
Us-
theme.
If I play After Us,
Yeah.
and then I play a thematic game, that thematic game I play After Us is actually a little bit less thematic because of the
Really?
sucking out of it. than
Because
After
there's
Us
been a
did.
black hole of theme
That's space.
that needs
Space.
to be refilled.
Anyway,
Okay.
The Boldest. Sophie Wagner's a very underrated designer. She's done some pretty neat little games, and this one completely went under the
Yeah,
radar.
she also did that.
Color me fully shocked that this is on your list. Anyway, you were saying she also did.
The other game that I played of hers is another sci-fi game. It's that one. Is it Novia or
Noria?
Noria with
Noria. She did a rat one, like a rat themed one.
Yeah.
I've never played, I think, unfortunately, any of her games, but this is by far the coolest looking one, and it makes me so happy to hear that this is a good game.
Yeah, I like it.
I haven't played this one.
All
I
right,
played
well,
Noria.
I need to play this game then. I really want to try this because I'm digging that look.
Yeah, it looks great.
It just flew under the radar. I did not think it was one I needed to, kind of pursue.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, The Boldest, okay.
This may be the first time I've ever put it on the top 10, too. Who knows?
I think so. I've
You've
been
never
there
been
for most
bold
of them.
enough. Now you're finally bold enough to put this on a list. Chris?
Sci-fi.
Let's go.
No mistake. Make no mistake about that. All right. My number 8 is a game that I don't think there's going to be any question about that it's sci-fi. I really doubt that it would be questioning on its
Have you met us?
thematicness.
We can question anything we want.
You can, but I think that you'll be barking up the wrong tree. This is a game.
Dogs.
After Wolf.
Yes, dogs after they've taken over the world. And it's actually a Moncala-style game. No, I'm just kidding. I was thinking what would be not thematic with dogs. Moncala.
Yeah.
Not thematic with.
Could be a picking up something later. Okay. My number 8 is Burn Cycle. There we go.
I figured this was. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to give this. We're having a little bit of technical issues.
Yeah, that's okay. I figured this would be on your list. I know you really like Burn Cycle.
So the idea behind Burn Cycle is that
I think that these are going to be top 10 games the other two haven't played. I'm not playing Burn Cycle.
This is one where, again, I love the theme.
What is that on his head?
It's a crucible.
It's a helmet with gears. No, like saws.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
I don't want to get near you. Like if you're when I'm like, I'm gonna go work over there.
Yeah.
Right.
This is really essentially a stealth game where you are trying to complete different little achievements and scenarios. We're really only seeing the player board here, but off to the right there is the huge kind of like main area where you are moving throughout these little corridors, but you're all trying to do it while not being getting the attention of these mechanized robots who are on kind of programmed paths. And so you're trying to kind of like
sneaking in like Metal Gear Solid style.
Yes, there's a lot of that kind of feel. There's stealth. There's kind of code cracking. It's a pretty involved game, like almost all chip theory games are. But I really think they nail the theme. They have brass miniatures, so the actual robots are made of brass, and they are like some of the most incredible sculpts you'll ever see. Just stunningly cool and magnetic. They've got their chip, and they snap onto the.
Have you played this one?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Not particularly.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody just said something that I agree with in the chat there. They say this seems overly designed to me, and they haven't played, I guess, from the sounds of that. But I agree. It's I don't know how else to put it. It's overly designed.
I do wish they had streamlined it a fair bit. Like that little area you're seeing right there with all of those kind of nodes. I think it's a neat idea. It's a cool mechanism, but I think that it gets a little convoluted when you're trying to kind of keep track of everything that's happening. You've got asymmetric powers like you always have in their games. But I just wish that they had been able to condense, what they were doing a little bit.
Sure.
But it's an ambitious game, great theme, very thematic, I think. And that is number 8, Burn Cycle.
All right. My number 8, you got a sneak peek at there, is going to be an alternate history game based on a piece of literature. And we referenced classic literature a moment ago.
Yep.
This is Nemo's War, my number 8, second edition, I guess. And this is, of course, based on Nemo and...
Not really based on... much else, though. He wasn't
no. It's like
books. He wasn't doing this.
No,
really.
It's like inspired by Nemo and the Nautilus, his submarine, and that's kind of it. He's a pirate, right? I mean, he was sort of a figure of piracy, and you're going around the world. You're sailing. You are pursuing various missions and trying to ultimately get the most victory points. How you get victory points is based on like a mission you pick at the beginning, which pretty much says this game, sinking ships, is better than starting rebellions in places and freeing the people, and doing this is better than that. And so you're kind of focusing on the things you ought to do. You also want to be careful you don't stir the pot too much, because then the powers of the world kind of rise up against you. And the game becomes and the game becomes quite difficult. It's neat. It's a thinky game. It sort of gives me whiffs of a war game.
Yeah.
It gives me, I feel like I'm like, ooh, I'm playing a war game, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Any real war game would be like, no, that's the Lego version of what we do.
It's got a narrative feel, but it's not narrative.
Right.
It's
very lucky in many ways, but you roll dice so many times that it is, that curve is going to flatten because you do it a billion times throughout the game. It's not the game it's not a game that if you describe to me, I would say, ooh, I want to jump into that. And yet, I always have a good time with this one. The emotions, the things it brings up for me, I don't really get from any other game I own. And I don't want to play this all the time, But this is the only one that gives me this. So, therefore, it's on my list. My number 8, Nemo's War.
All right, my number 8 is based not on anything, although I really think this game, at least the idea from it, came from a sci-fi horror movie called The Cube.
Oh, I remember.
And this is
Okay.
This is Room 25, and I would recommend, if you're going to get this, to get the Season 2 box. But in Room 25, you're a bunch of people trapped in this, 5x5 grid here, so it's not really a cube like the cube was. And you're trying to figure out how to get out. These tires are going to rotate. There are some deadly traps in some of them. There might be spinning blades or, various things that just
That guy with the
murderize you.
helmet, he's in one of these.
Yeah.
What? Have you seen the cube?
No, the guy with the spinning blade helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
the cube is, there's a lot of those deadly rooms, and yes, this is kind of that idea.
And in fact, but there are some ways to play this where my favorite way to play this is where one of you is actually a guard working in the cube. So you're trying to get the safety and have everyone else killed if possible.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, this is an interesting one. I really like this theme. I don't like horror movies much at all, but I've watched The Cube multiple times. I mean, the Hyperspace Cube, this Cube 2, and the third one, which is trash.
Cubed.
This has got the shifting rows and columns thing going on?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Because
interesting.
that kind of happened in a movie where things, and there's
Yeah.
elevators, and you're like, where are we
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah.
But if you know if you can read prime numbers, like one of the savants, and I don't know what it was about. No one knows what the cube's about.
Right.
But
I think the Pinhead was in that movie, right?
well, that's a very
Yeah, that's the
okay.
cube.
That's if you solve the cube.
That's right.
Yeah, if you solve it, then it zooms out.
Yeah,
And you're suddenly in another movie.
right.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun, especially if you like that style of game. So, Room 25.
This is not related to this pick at all, but I did see someone mention in the live chat the hardest distinction I had to make, believe it or not, wasn't space, because I was doing that as a separate list,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I was really delineating. It was fantasy. There were a lot of games I thought were going to be sci-fi, and I looked it up on Board Game Geek, and it was listed as fantasy instead.
Who cares what they say?
I care
Really? That's
because I'm
interesting.
trying, and so that was
Like,
the
give me an
hardest
example.
delineator. Wondrous Creatures is not on my list.
Wondrous Creatures is fantasy. Why would you think it's sci-fi?
It's science fiction. Those creatures don't exist.
Yeah, but that's they're fantastical creatures.
They're scientifically.
They weren't
No,
bred.
no.
Like you go to some island and there's
Board Game Geek.
I use
yeah,
Board Game
what?
Geek. That's sci-fi to me.
So you're saying everything with dragons is sci-fi?
100%.
Go for it, Internet. I
No,
present
I'm
to
just
you
kidding.
on a platter.
I'm just kidding. Someone brought it up, and
Mike-
it reminded me that when I was doing this list, a couple of games I thought maybe would be eligible
Sure.
or not because they were classified as fantasy instead of.
The weird ones are the ones that, where, like, again, people like say Star Wars, but things like Dune. Well, Dune is more sci-fi than Star Wars, probably. But people say, well, technically, it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
To
know.
me, if there's lasers and weird tech, it's sci-fi. And you can argue to death that it's not. But if I say, do you like sci-fi movies, and I show you Star Wars, I don't think you're going to get upset.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things I thought about on my list was, do I feel the sci-fi? Is this tangibly, yes, this game could be set in a science fiction setting, but I want to feel some of that. I want to.
Yeah, like people say, like people are saying in chat, like Star Wars is space fantasy,
Yeah.
but there's spaceships and robots and droids. I
And
mean,
lasers
come on.
and stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
you're
it.
just
But
you're being pedantically.
pedantic.
But-
Well, I'm not
Pedantic.
going to say too much because I need you to help me move. That's Adam. So,
I see.
but you're wrong.
Oh, is that?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the one saying space fantasy there.
Yeah.
Saying why do I have to move to Fort Myers? All right, Adam, I'll keep that in mind. All right, my number 7. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned tech. We're gonna pause for a moment.
Okay, see, that's
Now,
science
Ghost
fiction.
in the Machine right here is
That's science fiction,
Yeah,
okay?
action.
Is there a Ghost in the Machine game?
not that I'm aware of.
All right. well,
My
would
number
be cool.
7 is Atlas Lost: Rise of the New Sovereigns.
Oh, yeah, this is the one you showed to
I am-
Tom, right?
I am
Yes.
annoyed that I did. I mean, I only played it once, so I didn't think about this one.
yeah.
This
no.
is like people are saying we're picking on you. Good pick, Mike.
Thank you.
Delicio.
Oh, I got like confused for a second because he's used footage of me doing a live play. So I'm like, wait, what? Oh, I'm not wearing that shirt. Yeah. So this is a game, clearly a science fiction game where you have,
We're try to figure out which one of these is the clone. We have to kill one of these.
Yes, exactly. All right. Go kill that guy. You have, a whole bunch of different technologies that you are trying to develop and utilize those technologies. And there's, you can incorporate mechs into the game and things.
This is
along
futuristic, set on Earth thing.
I don't know where it's set. Actually, I don't know that it is set on Earth, but
Okay.
it's not a space game.
Some planet you're building up on that planet.
Right,
okay.
right. I don't.
That's
believe
perfectly
it's
fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a great game. I'm trying to help get a copy of this into the
I
library.
really like this
Yeah,
game.
I do too.
You finally taught him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Well,
liked
because
it.
Well, there were a
I like
couple
this
of games.
designer, right? Or
This is Totsuka Chuo, who did Ostia.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not as good as Ostia. But it's bigger
way
than
up
Ostia
there.
too.
It's
right
up there, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in it.
Yeah. No, it's a terrific game. I still have some hopes that this can get wider distribution. I think this one warrants wider distribution, much like Ostia did, and that's going to now see that. So it could happen again, right? It would be great because this is a really, really solid game. Good science fiction, clearly a science fiction game, and it comes through. It comes through while you're playing it as well. And I don't know, have you ever heard of the game Nier, N-I-E-R? It's a video game.
Yeah.
The artist for this is one of the artists for that game, and you can kind of see that. So,
Yeah.
really good.
I think
I like
it's
any
Nier.
game that shows
Nier,
I think.
any game that shows kind of giant statues and stuff, whether they're ancient or future.
They're
and I'm just
fantasy.
like,
They're
yeah.
always fantasy, is what you're saying. Yeah,
No,
I
I
agree.
just couldn't.
No, I
Don't
agree.
stick words
Yeah.
in my mouth.
All right, here we go. My number 7 is going to be. No, I'm not going to spoil that. My number 7 is post-apocalyptic, and it is a game that a lot of people. I might get some pushback on this, especially after what I said. The game feeling like that sci-fi, but I get that feeling from this game.
Oh, please tell me this is Neuroshima Hex.
This is Neuroshima Hex.
garbage. How can you ever give me grief?
I will move my mic so that you can see him.
This
yell.
feels as much like sci-fi as chess feels like sci-fi.
No, I disagree. There's a guy with a shotgun.
On the picture, just like there's a picture of a monkey on the card that does nothing, has nothing to do with it.
You mean the monkey that connects the two matching symbols?
Yes.
Or the guy with the shotgun who shoots you?
Mention the triangles.
It's.
Mention the boring triangles.
I'm sorry. This is just as abstract. This is
Of course it's abstract.
but
It's a board game.
Straight abstract. It's
No, I
like,
disagree.
It's a straight abstract.
No, I disagree.
I know.
This is an abstraction of war.
It's like chess. Yeah,
Yes, like chess.
Correct.
But these guys have guns.
like chess.
No,
Have you played Fi Duty's chess?
that's nightmare chess.
All right. I had to at least push back a little.
No, I think
I'm back
the different factions in this feel different. There are guys who are guerrilla tactics. They're trying to survive under this world where the machines have risen. It's Terminator, okay? Moloch being Skynet. It's the same world. This is its own RPG setting from Poland. But basically, there's all these different factions. Moloch itself, these robotic, heavy-hitting but slow-moving guys. There are, twists upon creation, this, organic matter that has mixed with technology. There's mutated beasts. All these things are different factions, and they'll play differently. And there's a lot of them there to explore, and you can definitely try a few different ones and kind of find the flavor that you like. You can also play this, yes, where you don't care about the guy and you don't think about what he is representing, what he is doing. That sucks and sounds really boring. I want to enjoy the pshoo and this guy's going to shoot you with a net launcher and pin you down. Now you can't do anything. Ha ha ha. And this guy's going to come over here and, attack you with this giant sword he's holding. That's fun. That's why you do this stuff. So for me, it works, but I completely get it if it's too abstract for some people.
Yeah.
I
think
there's no writing, for example. There's no flavor text. There's no cards in this. It's just these tiles. Anyway, my number 7, Neuroshima Hex. I want to enjoy the pew pew pew.
I understand what you're saying there, Mike. Okay. One of my favorite themes that is in sci-fi that is done in almost no board games. I mean, it's done in a few, but it's always done terribly, and it's almost impossible. But it's my favorite theme, I think, in sci-fi is time travel.
Yeah.
I love time travel, but there's almost no game that does it right. And this one does it okay, but the rest of the game is still very good, and this is Anachrony.
Okay.
So Anachrony, you're going to tell me this is not sci-fi?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I was
Look at that
wondering.
cover.
I was wondering. Yeah.
Okay, there you
I
go.
was wondering if this would be on your list. Yeah. You're right. This is definitely sci-fi.
Yeah, the future, the world's coming to an end, and you're
Yeah.
doing all sorts of things to stop it or help it or whatever your dumb goal is.
Is Chris Pratt there?
You're not going back in time to... You go back in time to get resources from yourself, basically.
It's a loan system
Or you
that's
jump in
really
the future.
cleverly. It
Sure,
is.
sure, yeah.
It's a great way to abstract time travel.
It's particularly sci-fi if you add in the giant box of
mechs,
of
yeah.
mechs. So whoever's doing this video, it's not me, is putting just the pieces out. But in the game, you're moving a mech there with that piece in it.
Yeah,
and it just
right.
feels very
That's 100%
sci-fi.
you.
Is that me?
Yeah, because I saw your Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's yours. They only made one.
Did you have a yellow banded Apple Watch ever?
Of course.
Did you? That was you that did that?
No, that's not me, but I did own a yellow one, yes.
I don't think that's me.
Okay.
Let's find out who it is. Everything
Yeah, I never had
stops.
a yellow band, Mike.
I'm trying to look at who.
Was that you, Mike?
No, I don't think I ever had that ring. I can't see it right now, but.
So dumb. This
Whose
is
hands
so
are they?
dumb, guys.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Who cares?
That's a
is
very dexterous finger. That could be me.
It's the heaviest game on my list. It is from Mind Clash, and it's one of the. Actually, it's not their heaviest game by a mile either.
No, it's not.
But I like it. It's a lot to get to the table, and frankly, because recently I've got the big box version of it.
Yeah.
I don't play it because it's just so much effort to bring that box out with everything in it.
I'm sorry. I'm really distracted.
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
90% sure I've never had a yellow banded watch.
Probably Brian Drake or so. No, that person's got dark hair.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Brian Drake. Andrew said he's the one who made it.
Oh, it's Brian Drake.
But his shirt is not tight enough.
That's right.
We're way off topic here.
Obviously, there's also no mentalism happening right here.
Anyway, I wish time travel is very difficult to do in a board
Achieve.
game. Who's saying
It
time
is.
travel is not sci-fi? Oh, whatever. Anyway, time travel is very difficult to do. Most games
It
that do
really
it
is.
have a. It's hard to do in movies because if you start picking them apart, you're
Yes,
like, you know
right.
what? Never mind. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one does it pretty decently.
It
as long as
does.
you don't look at it as a loan. And if you think about it, we're all time travel when we do loans. Because I'm like, hey, future Tom, and future Tom can't answer me, and I just steal some of his money.
It is time. It's like in the future, if you don't pay me back, I'm going to break your kneecaps. Right?
I don't know why I got
No, I
Bobby
don't
all of a
understand this
sudden.
concept at all. I'll have to play the game, I guess.
Who are you borrowing money from, Mike?
Who's to say they're not borrowing it from me?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, if you don't pay me back, I'm going to break your kneecaps.
I guess I have to play the game to really
Opinions
understand
of
this
Mike Delisio
concept.
do not reflect the opinions of
I've
the
never
Dice
broken
Tower.
a kneecap in my life.
Even your own?
No, thankfully. It's one of the few bones I haven't broken.
All right. Okay, you know what? Let's move to the next number.
Yeah, that's good.
Number 6 is my newest game on the list. And,
Ooh, wow. Even newer than that Atlas Rising one.
Even newer than Atlas Rising. Yeah, this
Is it a chip theory game?
It is not a chip theory game. This game came out in 2025. We all three have played this game.
Did I forget?
I'm almost sure you've played it, Tom. I know you've played it, Zeke.
Did I love
with
it?
you. I don't think you loved it.
Okay, good.
Who's the publisher?
Arcus Games.
Oh, okay.
My number 6 is Storm Raiders.
Okay, it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't play this.
Oh, okay. It's post-apocalyptic, but it's also post-apocalyptic, post-Atlantis.
So it's fantasy.
No, this is sci-fi, 100% sci-fi.
It's Atlantis.
Fantasy is not here. This is all sci-fi.
I'm with Mike.
This feels,
I don't know
this feels very abstract.
Yeah, okay, you're going to the well too often. This is sad. This is getting sad now. So you're traveling around on these different modes of transportation. You've got like airships, and you've got land ships, and you've got a boat, underwater submergible vehicle, and you are trying to pick up remnants of this great storm that travels around the rift.
Oh, that's another game I should have put.
The Rift?
No, Magnus Storm.
And so it's like the storm is going around, and it's like throwing around all of these things that have been, lost in the apocalypse, and you are doing a pick up and deliver type of a game.
Right.
But I really, really think they do a very good job with incorporating a unique sci-fi theme into it. This does not feel like every other sci-fi game out there. It has a very unique feel. It's post-apocalyptic, but also a little steampunk feeling in a way.
Yeah. It's actually, I came across the word for this type of genre while I was looking this up, which is a word I've heard before. I forgot I love this genre so much. It's called diesel punk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that too. I didn't know this was diesel punk.
This counts as diesel punk because of all the machinery.
Yeah. So almost like a Mad Maxian type of thing going on.
That's diesel punk, yeah.
Okay, I dig it. And I dig the game. I think I clearly liked it the most here. We did a review of it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But anyway, really, really cool theme, sci-fi theme that does feel unique, and beautiful looking game too.
I do agree. The whole everything works until they felt the need to say that it's Atlantis. I'm like, why? It's like it's not even there. That's the weird thing.
It's really
Everything else they could have said Australia, like the Mad Max movies, and I would have been 100% in. This isn't detracting. It's just it's not there.
No, it's not really there.
There's nothing Atlantean sort of about this,
Right.
But no, this is a shoe. It's a good pick.
Well, I mean, does that make? I'm not trying to spoil your list, but is Atlantis Rising then a sci-fi game? Because they're using tech.
I thought about it. I did not. It's not on my list.
I considered it as well.
It's not on my list, but I didn't put it on my list.
It's like in the past they were using tech.
Yes, it's alternate history.
Yep.
It feels like some of those people have a little bit of a magic-y power. Maybe it's supposed to be scientifically based, and it just looks like magic to me because it's so advanced. But I would have a hard time explaining some of those characters' abilities away with, oh, yeah, that's tech. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's fuzzy. That one's fuzzy. All right, my number 6 is an oldie but a goodie, and has lots of mechs. And again, I'm trying to pick here a wide sort of swath of feels and settings and vibes. This is kind of my mech game, if you want to call it that. Maybe one of them. This is Risk Legacy. I'm going with Risk Legacy on this.
Oh.
Risk Legacy has that cool...
Spoilers.
Yeah, right? Risk Legacy has that...
It's called Healy.
Well, right on the nose. Risk Legacy is futuristic. You've got... some of the factions that have gone the traditional sci-fi way, they've got mechs, they've got that tech. Some have gone the post-apocalyptic, they've become savages kind of way, riding on bears or whatever. That kind of part of the sci-fi. They might have monkeys,
okay. All right, I'm in.
And then it's a legacy game, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there is various of sci-fi tropes that come into play in the game.
Let me tell you some other genres. This is part.
Yeah, this is a part of a lot of.
I don't want to get in trouble here because one time someone added it to a genre list and they got yelled at for spoiling.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. There's some other stuff that's going to happen, but I think it's all in. It's sort of
fantasy. You wanted to say it.
It's fantasy.
You wanted to say
How many of these did they print? Because I see
they're still out there.
Shrink wrap copies of this all the time.
I know. I don't understand. I'm assuming this is not in print.
I wouldn't think so.
It's been out over a decade, right? Quite a bit of time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many of them they made, but yeah, you can go buy one right now. Risk Legacy, my number 6.
All right, my number 6, I mentioned in number 9 that the boldest was based on art. This is the most famous game that was made because of artwork. And it's
My Little Pony.
That calls it off. Scythe. Scythe. This, man, I'm still, my biggest disappointment about Scythe is that picture of that cover is not the game, actually.
Will never happen.
No, but that may be my all-time favorite cover.
It's a pretty good cover.
I mean, that one cover image, I think, has made me more interested in a game than any other single
the
cover.
furor this set for the game when he showed that cover, everyone was like, what is this game?
Right.
Now, I think the game is really cool, and I really like the mix here of, hey, I got a tiger as a pet.
Yeah.
But also, I'm riding
mech.
this giant mech.
Yeah.
And the mechs are not invincible and everything, and the game itself isn't nearly as sci-fi as it should be.
It's alternate history
It's alternate
sci-fi.
history sci-fi. Yeah,
Which I love. I love alternate history
I like
sci-fi.
this theme a lot, and then also what's the sequel?
Expedition.
Expedition. Very boring name. But I like this world. I would like more games in this world. I would almost role-play in this world, although I wonder if it might get samey after a while.
Did they do a role-playing game in the Scythe?
I don't know.
know.
Not that I know
I
of.
wonder, yeah.
I know there's a video game called Iron Heart or
Yeah.
Iron Storm.
Harvest.
Iron Harvest. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah, like Iron Harvest 1930 or
Oh, yeah,
something
and
like
Chris
that.
is correct. Rise of Fenris, the expansion, really went down the
It really
sci-fi
did
route
go down
because
that.
it brings in what's his name?
Meteorites and
Whoa.
Tesla.
Tesla.
Whoa.
Tesla. Right.
Whoa.
Meteorites are all throughout this
Spoilers.
thing. Anyway, I thought
They're
it was a
not in
really
the base
neat game.
game.
I love the theme of this, so my number 6 is Scythe.
My number 5 is a post-apocalyptic game, and I'm not going to even pretend that it's, the only one, because we have already seen Storm Raiders, which I think would also be a post-apocalyptic game. This is a Euro game, however, one of my favorite worker placement games, a very interactive worker placement game.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the one that you put on a lot of lists.
I put it on a lot of lists. Outlive. This is just. I just love this kind of setting, right?
That bat.
Yep.
Fantasy.
Yep. The bat. So this is a game where you are obviously traversing around a post-apocalyptic environment, and you are trying to scavenge for the base resources that you need to survive. It's got a bit of a Fallout Shelter feel. Actually, to me, this is the most Fallout Shelter type of board game that there is. Even
What about
more
Fallout
so,
Shelter?
No, that's what I'm saying. Even more so than the Fallout Shelter game.
You shut your mouth.
No, I love the Fallout
I
Shelter
agree and
game,
concur.
but this is more of that because you really have to manage your shelter, right? You're going out there to get resources.
This you got to go out. I want to stay in the shelter. In Fallout Shelter, you never have to leave.
You can't stay in the shelter without worrying about all the raiders are coming to try to steal your stuff and
every
all of the
version of Fallout I've ever seen,
radiation
the people who live in shelters have a good time.
and all the radiation who you have to deal with by stockpiling water, but you also have to deal with people out there who are ravaging the areas with you, and you have to put pressure on them, and you might even have to threaten them.
Do you feel like in the future, let's say this happened and you somehow survive, which we know is not true, but let's pretend.
Okay.
Would you play a game like this, or would you be like, too real?
What? That's your question?
I would say
After all that setup, the question was, you still want to play this?
yeah.
Are you kidding me? He might have to eat this game
I want
to
go
survive.
back. I want to go back to the scenario where you're going to outlive me in an
Oh,
apocalypse.
no. I didn't say I was going to out-survive you.
Let me put it to you this way: my wife is going to outsurvive everybody I know. I think she's already like
I have a very mean thing to say, but I'm not going to say it because I know
because
her.
she's been married to me. That's what's prepared.
Yeah.
You kind of softballed that one to
right.
us,
Look,
but yes.
I'm very good.
Look,
at,
again, I didn't say I was going to survive. I'm gone at the first blast.
No, I'm
just saying.
I have no survival skills. I'm no Bear Grylls. This is just a game that I really enjoy the way this theme is incorporated into the game because it's a Euro, it's a worker placement game,
Right.
But it's not just window dressing, especially when you're dealing with the shelter aspect of it itself.
Right.
I think they do a really good job with that, and I just think it's a really solid interactive worker placement game. There's not too many of those.
So you picked this. I mean, they made a sequel of sorts to this game with the kid with the samurai helmet.
Oh, wait, no, that's not really a
Daimyo?
sequel.
Yeah.
No, this is
Is that a sequel to this?
Well, no,
It's
but
not. It's the same
It's
publisher.
same kind of thing, same publisher. It's also sci-fi set in the future.
It is, no.
And there's radio stations and all kinds.
That game was rough.
It is, but Outlive is much more coherent of a narrative.
Okay.
So, Yeah, I would struggle to tell you what Daimyo is about.
Yeah.
So,
all right. My number 5 is the game that I thought Mr. Tom Vassell was going to mention when he brought up time travel. This is a great game to start playing.
Oh, I know what this is.
And quit before you
No,
get to too many expansions.
I wrote this on my list, and then I crossed it off because I was angry.
I am still angry too, but at some point, Tom, we have to learn to forgive.
Yeah, you're right.
The apocalypse is coming. Somebody's going to get eaten alive. It's not going to be Mike. He's wiry.
I'm wiry.
He'll survive.
I'm lithe.
Yeah,
You're a
but
live spirit.
I'm full of chemicals no one wants to eat.
That might be true. My number 5 is Time Stories. Time Stories is actually one of my favorite sci-fi ideas.
Actually, I haven't. This is not my list because of a game that's coming up in the future.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this is one of my favorite sci-fi ideas. The reason it's only at 5, actually, and not higher is because you spend a lot of time in the non-sci-fi part of this game. This is a time travel game in a distant future. You are part of an elite team. They insert you in a body in the past. Whoop, whoop. They drop you in there to fix some timey-wimey stuff that's going to go wrong. And you need to prevent that from happening, create alternate scenarios, create, different timelines, whatever. The setup at the beginning is that, and if you fail, you sort of go, woo, 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 you jump back to your time agency, and they insert you again. But like 85% of the game is in like Egypt or in the 1980s, and whatever. And there are sprinkles of sci-fi stuff in there, but there's not that much of it. However, if you like that premise, if you like that setup, this is definitely worth trying. And the only caveat being, don't get hooked on there being a big overreaching story. Treat this as an episode where the things that they talk about, oh yeah, this is coming, you got to ignore. This is Lost. Yeah. This is, the first season of Firefly. There's no more. Don't think there is. Try the first one, what comes in the box, and then like a couple more.
This is like, ideally, your best way is to know as little about it as possible, right? And stop after maybe the first or second one because it's like a magic trick.
Yes.
Right? You don't know that games can do this.
Actually, I would jump around and I would play some of the things. I mean, like, the Arctic one on its own is really good.
There's like 4.
Yeah.
The first and maybe the next 3, but really, like, you're kind of done after that.
And again, it's at its best when it does sci-fi. So let's say, and this is not real, but you're in a colonial period, and you walk up to a guy and he's like, and you're like, is that guy a robot? That's like the coolest stuff in this game.
Yeah, they sprinkle it in there.
Very tiny in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
One expansion was fantasy, so my pick is invalidated.
All right, my number 5 is. All right, well, here's where I'm going to start getting crap. Okay. My number 5 is has lots of aliens in it, and it's on a space station, but it's not in space. It's in the space station.
Okay.
All right, anyway. This is Chimera Station. This is a worker placement game in which you are building your workers.
Yeah.
So
I'll be honest with you, Tom. I would not think of this as a space game. I think sci-fi is valid.
Okay, good. Keep that in mind for 4 through 2.
Okay. Yeah, because you're making aliens, right? I don't think that's like specifically a space feeling.
I would like to change one of mine. I'm so nervous. Okay, anyway.
You'd let us know right before you say it.
Number 5, though. So Chimera Station, I like worker placement games as is. But I like this because you're building these aliens, and so one piece will give you more victory points when you go to a spot. One piece means you don't need to feed that worker because they all need to eat. One is better at fighting. I think it's the red arms or whatever it might be.
Of course, look at it.
I'm hoping this one gets picked up because we're slowly seeing over the last couple of years,
TMG,
all the TMG games are seemingly getting picked up and reprinted by various publishers.
Yeah, but look at all that plastic. For them to reprint that, it's going to be $150.
Well,
that
here's
was my
the thing,
concern.
Though. Yeah,
Lego could do this game.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think there's ways around it.
Lego
right?
Station.
I think there's ways
Stay
that you
tuned
can
for
be
the
done.
news tomorrow about Lego. There's Lego news in there tomorrow.
Oh.
They're still around. That's
well,
the
that's
news.
not news, but okay. I know what you're talking about. All right. Anyway, join us for the news tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Anyway, that's my number 5, Chimera Station.
Alrighty then, my number 4.
It's Chimera Station.
Yeah, no, I've never actually played Chimera.
Yeah, I've never
Station.
played that. It looks neat though.
Yeah, I've heard.
Tasty Minstrel at the end there had made a lot of games that were like on the Western list we did yesterday.
Yeah, the old
and then
West
Sci-Fi, they
Episario.
made that one where you were all leaving Earth and you had to like get as many people on the ships out as possible. I forget the name of that one. They were doing really good at the end, and then they were just done one day.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, my number 4 is a game that flew under the radar a bit, and I kind of know why, because it's a game that has a lot of really cool elements to it, but I think it was let down by its scoring. But that doesn't really affect the great theme that you find in Too Deep. In Too Deep is a game where you are hacking into the brain of agents, right? And the agents are the bad guys, but you are hacking into their brains to control them to do things that you want them to do, right?
Okay.
So it's definitely a sci-fi theme. You're hacking into the brain of these different agents that are running around.
Yeah, this is very Netrunner.
Yeah, exactly. And it does some really cool things. Like, I think there's some mechanical elements of the game that are brilliant, right? What am I doing?
I'm sorry, we got a super chat. Thank you, Drives Contact. Another super chat for every time BSG makes someone's list.
Okay.
Guess we're getting no more money.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly right.
Oh, well. Thank you, though, for that money.
Exactly. So, again, really cool idea, but I think that it didn't gain the popularity that it might have otherwise because the scoring was really kind of felt disconnected, overly convoluted for what was mechanically a relatively simple game where it's almost recipe fulfillment, but it's more like have this agent in this location at the same time that something else is happening here.
Oh, interesting.
And you're doing that by maneuvering these things around, right?
It's co-op. This is competitive, right?
Competitive, yeah. Yeah, and so
it's
all
not cooperative.
No. And so all of that is really cool, but the scoring is just convoluted and complex.
Okay.
But man, this is a game that I feel like I would love to see a second edition of this where they kind of retool how the scoring works.
This is one of those games that the cover has always fascinated me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the the actual game, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I even like
I've
the
never
look
played
of
it, but I love the look of that cover.
No, I even like the look of the game itself. It's a Burnt Island game. So the components are really, really nice as well.
I should try it.
Yeah, it's unique. I think Camilla likes this game a lot, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Maybe. I thought she liked this one. We had a Dice Tower promo for it.
I'm
I know
making
that.
a list of games I got to play. The Boldest and In Too Deep.
Yep. So there's my number 4, In Too Deep.
Okay, my number 4 is I spoke too quickly when I said Risk was my only mech game. This is also a mech game, though incredibly different feeling from Risk Legacy. This is Robot Quest Arena, which is a deck building game in which you are fighting cute little robots, throwing them at each other, shooting each other with lasers, hacking and smashing each other, shoving each other into spikes and the wall and all sorts of things. And all of that wrapped around very clean, very straightforward deck building where you are going to be using the cards you have. They give you energy, a lot of them, and you can use that energy to move your robot around or push other robots around. Or that energy is also your currency and you buy better cards. Make, a better deck as you go. It also has that thing that is kind of the only thing I really liked from the first-person shooter from CGE. Adrenaline, yeah, thank you. It has the thing from Adrenaline where they have health, the robots have health. When you shoot them, you keep their health as a point, and the last one, if you do the killing shot, is slightly better.
Yeah, so it gives you like, ooh, I got the kill shot, but doesn't break the game.
Right. And then you just spawn back on the board. And then when it's your turn again, you just, you entered one of the corners, you're back in it. Really clean, super straightforward game, adorable production. These robots, out of the box look like that. They are chunky. They're painted. They look fantastic. And so this is very lighthearted. If you, it's a good one to play maybe with older kids if they like the Wild Robot. They like this kind of, they like that kind of. They like this style, this look.
Yeah.
Then this is a good one. It's going to be a little mean, but not too mean. They'll get you right back, if you pick on them. So it just works out. So yeah, my number 4, Robot Quest Arena.
All right, my number 4 is So Far Beyond Space.
Wow, you are
that
really...
it eclipses space. It cannot be space because space is part of it. No.
Okay.
I'm not making a pun. This is one in which you are an alien race working with other alien races to all come together and make unity. This is Sidereal Confluence.
Are you kidding me? This is a space game.
But there's no space in the game.
Could not be more of a space game.
I don't think so. See, this one I'm going to argue over because I can't argue over number 3.
Okay, so it's number 3 that I need to watch out for.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, this one you are running machines and changing different resources, and you're trading these resources.
Are you like I've never played this game. Is it like a space council or something? Like, are you somewhere where...
Yes.
A meeting of the minds?
But you're supposed to all be on the same team. You just want to be the one who kind of molds the future.
It's kind of like
thing.
Federation?
But in space?
Because that was on the space list.
I considered Federation, but I knew you guys were going to be crap because of all those planets on the board, so I didn't pick it. This has no planets.
What are on those cards? Those weren't planets?
Anyway.
Discs. Various discs.
So this is actually... I'm sorry. I'm still going to say this one. This works up to 7 players, and you're all a very different asymmetrical faction. You have these little machines that you put in front of you, but you can't use them for yourself. So I can...
So it's like a Zuvadas type thing.
Yeah, so you give me these cubes I run through.
But in
everyone
space.
has a very unique feature. Like one person has wild resources.
Yeah.
But only that person has them. But you trade them to other players, and we'll fight for them. One person is more devious with technology. I really don't think it's a space game. I really don't. I'm not trying to be defensive, even though I am. But I like this concept. I saw this played several times at Dice Tower West. But it's such an event-style game.
I do wonder how they describe the game. Like, do they describe it as being a space game?
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
By the way, people are wondering about this.
Elysian
We
Quadrant?
made the rule ourselves for no space. This is not. I'm not saying. We're not saying sci-fi is not space.
Right.
We made the rule because we did a space list on Monday.
Yeah, right.
That's the only reason I did this because I didn't want to do. I want to go outside the box and talk about space games that wouldn't get mentioned in the space.
I'm glad you did, though, because I think that if you had just done a sci-fi list, they'd have been 95% space games.
Right.
There's so much of it.
Right.
And sometimes you're looking for this, and sometimes people don't want to fly from planet to planet trading goods or whatever. This one is a very unique game. It's set in the future. It could be in a room. It could be in your mind. I don't know where this is happening.
Ooh, Theater of the Mind.
So anyway, that's Sidereal Confluence.
How many cubes am I
Let's
thinking
go to number
of?
2.
5.
My number 3. I'm not gonna make this harder on myself.
Apes?
My number 3.
Wall-to-wall apes?
No apes. This is based under the sea.
Is it a crossover with him?
In an under. I don't know.
No, I mean his Nautilus thing.
No, it won't be that.
No. This is
Under the Sea, there's a lot of good sci-fi things under
This
the
is by
sea.
the sci-fi master Bruno Catala. Well known for his sci-fi games.
What's he got set under the sea? Oh, Abyss?
Abyss, baby.
Abyss is fantasy.
It says sci-fi on BGG.
Yeah,
Thank you.
This is definitely fantasy. They have like mind powers and stuff. This is fantastic.
Where's the sci-fi in this?
I mean, this is fantasy intrigue type
This
setting.
is,
But good choice, Mike. I applaud.
Thank you.
Oh, you're letting him off
you.
the hook.
I need to.
Everybody
Everybody
go on BG and look up where it says this is a sci-fi game.
Really? Because I'm going to show you a lot of BGG categories where they're dead wrong.
Oof.
Probably that are historical too.
Sci-fi. The ocean.
Okay.
The final frontier.
Oh man, this
Telepathy,
is a stretch.
thank you. Telepathy is sci-fi.
What telepathy?
There's
They have,
telepathy in the game. This game is built on telepathy. It's lousy with telepathy in this
Puerto
game.
Katana's telepathy.
Right.
This is a nature game, says Mike Helmer.
This is beautiful. This is.
Did you look the list up yesterday on April 1st?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
I
love
had
All the
this
categories are messed
I had
up.
I
this
love this.
several hours ago.
Okay, so tell us about it. Okay.
So this is a game.
science fiction
where
of it, of course.
Yes, where you've got these scientifically based undersea guilds, and you are trying to gain influence with these undersea guilds through the use of science and fiction. By
Is that what
pushing
we
your
call
luck.
pearls?
And pushing your luck is clearly based upon the science of probabilities. Couldn't be more scientific.
Okay, let's not push it, Mike. You don't win your battle by saying this is the most science game on the list. You can't do that.
This is pretty science heavy, right? This is pearls. That's been those don't come from nature. I hope you know that.
Hey, you know that the Dice Hard copy has real pearls?
Does it really?
No, are you insane? Right? People would steal them. Actually, no, wait.
You should put real pearls in there and just don't tell
It has
people.
real bad pearls. It does, right? Didn't you put real pearls in it? The garbage
The
pearls.
cheap
No,
ones.
you're right. I did. I put cheap, bad.
They're
real
like,
pearls in it.
misshapen and
Yeah.
stuff. They're not like good pearls.
Right.
They're worthless. But
They're the pearls that were rejected from the
Right.
place where you spend $20 to have someone shuck an oyster
That's
for
right.
you. And you look,
Exactly.
I found a black pearl in one of those once when I was a kid.
Those are pretty neat places.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was like
The only
like-
place I know that does that, this is so weird, is at Epcot.
Oh, they still do it at
They
Epcot?
do it. They used to do it. If you'd go to Japan, they would do it. I don't know why
Oh,
Japan.
interesting.
Did you ever read that old book, that little novel about that guy who finds a really big pearl and it ruins his life?
Oh no, but I think I've heard of it.
Oh, what's that called?
Star Wars?
Maybe it's called The Pearl.
Yeah, maybe
Someone in
it's,
chat tell me. That's such a sad story. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
We are.
Okay, so
Oh,
yes, this is definitely science fiction.
Thank you.
Cool. All right,
I hope your number 3 is Abyss.
my number 3
No, you gave me too much
is
grief. You didn't put it on
a
this list.
part of a game.
Steinbeck, The Pearl. Yeah, that's right.
It's a part, the Pearl Steinbeck. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
It's a really unfortunate. It's such a depressing book.
lot
I
of
don't know why
Steinbeck.
people
Is it a
like
whole
that
novel, a short story, a novella?
It's
What
a
is it?
novella, I think.
Okay. All right, so my number 3 is the sci-fi version of a game that came out with many different flavors for the same game, and this is one of my favorite flavors for that game. This is Chronicles of Crime 2400.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to pick a zombie side game. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that too.
Too late.
That's kind of set in space.
It
So
is,
it's the science fiction one. So yeah, this is a game in which you are investigating a whodunit in the future, in the year, being 2400. You are an investigator. You're that person on the cover. You are going to interact with all sorts of characters, all sorts of locations. You have this cyber mech raven thing that you can send out that can interact with things. You are going to, part of the game happens, this is one of the big kind of twists to this version, is the part of it happens like in like a net runner on the net kind of thing, world,
Yeah.
where you go in there and you don't know if this avatar you're seeing is someone you've met in the real world. And you're like, okay, because you just see like their representation online,
Yeah.
So it's got all these funky ideas to it that the sci-fi lets you introduce. You can also upgrade your character with new cybernetic enhancements. So from one sort of moment to the next, you can be unlocking cool stuff. I love the look. I love that sort of neon-drenched cyberpunk vibe anyway. And this one does a really good job with that setting. So for me, Chronicles of Crime 2400 is a winner in the Chronicles of Crime, a gamut. My number 3. And now we come to the best part of the list.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I was thinking when I put this list together, when I was printing it out earlier today and looking at it, like, this is a terrible choice, and I apologize. So I'll put Expeditions would be on my list somewhere, maybe.
Sure.
For like Scythe and Battletech.
Sure.
But I love technology, which is a big part of sci-fi, and so that's what I was thinking about when I put this on the list. But then I looked at the name, and the picture and the fact that there's spaceships in the game. My number 3 is Beyond the Sun. So,
Oh.
now tell me that's space.
Oh.
But that's not space. That's technology tree. That's
Yes,
what I was
because you're not
thinking
showing
of.
the other piece of the board,
Shut up!
which is space.
And there's also a planet
You can't
underneath.
see it.
Wow, this is amazing.
I know. This is a bad pick.
Yeah, look.
It's a great game.
It's a great game.
It's just
I understand.
You dropped the ball
I
on
gave
this
some
one.
other
It's all right.
I was thinking about the technology, and I thought, this
Sure.
is a little spacey. And then
Well,
I was
look.
like, no, I made the list. And then when I looked at the list, too late for Andrew and Chris to put it the other thing. I was like,
Let me put it this way to you. This is a better pick than Abyss.
I disagree. I disagree.
This is at least sci-fi, clearly in space. I mean, you missed the mark.
I see your this is better than Abyss, and I say this is 10 times better than Neuroshima Hex. How about them apples?
oh, wait, let me
That's
manipulate
right.
this a little more.
That's right.
No, are you sure Zee's wrong?
Oh my
Isn't Mike a
goodness.
moron?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no. You had a chance. You
All
could
right,
put
let's
us
go to number 2.
Good job, Tom.
All right. My number 2 is a game that is set on a icy environment.
Is it ice?
It is ice. My number 2 is ice. This is very much a science fiction game because you've got these kind of like scientific special power type of things, and you're.
I've never
utilizing
played this game. Do they discover scientific stuff down
They
there,
do.
like sci-fi stuff?
They're digging for these artifacts, which are like they've got some kind of magical properties. Type
Magical,
of a
you
thing.
said?
Relax.
See, I'm
Relax.
wondering, like, is that
The-
considered sci-fi? Like, if you find this weird glowing cube and it does stuff?
It's sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah, I count that as
Yeah,
sci-fi.
this is
All right,
definitely.
well, I mean,
You found a thing with like it's been buried in the ice.
That's
5,000 years.
we don't
but
know
it's
what it
clearly
is. It's-
technological.
yes, that's-
I call that sci-fi.
that's
No,
exactly
this is
what
cool.
this is.
I just don't particularly love this game.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know you don't like the game, but I love the game, and I really do love the theme. I really think that this idea of, there was something that crash landed. There was there's actually at the very bottom is an ancient city that you're discovering, and with kind of this unknown technology that you're discovering through finding these artifacts in different layers of the ice that you're digging through. So it really is a very scientific or sci-fi type of a game. And I think they do a good job of incorporating that through the mechanisms. Not all of them. I mean, obviously the scoring, there's set collection scoring. So
Yeah, well,
there's
that's-
still Euro-y stuff. But
Yeah.
but no.
I wish this was more thematic. I might like it more, like if you collected these things and now you found a new ice machine that melted ice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
there's none of that really in the game.
No, it's that they give you certain powers, right? They give you certain
or if
powers.
you found them and then you could go conquer Earth with them. I guess you can. I guess that's at the second part of the game.
Yeah. So
That's the sequel. They're like ice. Second one's just ice, baby, and then you come and that's when you destroy the world.
I'd stick with this one, I think.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
So-
I don't, did you play this one?
No, I haven't played.
I don't
just
know if
put it
you'd
on my
like-
2 playlists.
I don't know if you'd
Ice,
like it or not. What do you
Second
think?
edition.
What'd you say?
Would you predict Z would like this? I would predict no, actually.
I
But you
wouldn't
like
say.
Tikal, and there's some Tikal references in here.
It's I think of it as like a reverse to call where
Yeah.
you're using action
I do
points.
tend to like exploration, actually. Like
there
I'm pretty
is-
forgiving with like,
yeah.
look at the other side of the tile and be like, ooh, I got a thing. I like exploration.
Yeah. There is definitely exploration. I mean, that's the biggest action you're going to do is exploration. You're digging,
Yeah, I
you're
like
digging
that.
down through the ice.
I wanna try this one. I'm caught in between knowing that there's a second edition coming.
Yeah.
And just being like, well, I'll just wait.
Just wait for the second edition because I think it does streamline the game. There you
All
go.
right. Very nice. Very nice. My number 2 has been mentioned already, but it is not a crossover with anybody.
Oh.
Mike just mentioned it earlier on the list, and I disagree with him. I think Fallout Shelter feels more like Fallout Shelter than Outlive.
Do you really?
No, I don't know. I'm just being
because
facetious.
this is a great pick. I mean, I agree.
This is like cartoony sci-fi almost.
It is.
Like it's-
and again, it was another feel. I was like, this one has a different feel. You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
building up all these rooms underground. irradiated creatures and whatnot are going to break in there. You have to go clean them out or the room won't work, which I love that that's your concern, not that there's an irradiated creature in there.
Right.
And then you're trying to, with some worker placement, activate things and build more rooms, excavate, build new things. It's really fun. It's a lovely, simple little game. The box, the illustrations, heck, even the app kind of belie how good this game is.
Yeah. It looks almost more disposable than it really is.
Right. And yet it's a really neat worker placement game. You can send your worker to other people's rooms and sort of benefit them.
Did this bomb?
I think so. I mean, I have to imagine it did.
It came out and disappeared like so fast.
I have to imagine it did.
Yeah.
But it's a really neat game. If you ever have a chance to try it out, do yourself a favor and give it a go. I think even if you haven't played the little app, this was a video game. Even if you haven't played that, if you like this post-apocalyptic stuff or just Fallout, the video games, the big ones, you should try this out. So yeah, for me, that's my number 2.
All right, I like it.
All right. My number 2 is I've been on tons of my lists. It's one of my favorite games, but it just is one of my most sci-fi. I actually had a lot of games in this genre. The most popular that people would play would be Nemesis. But this is my favorite in that genre of fight the aliens off something, and that's Project Elite.
Okay.
This
was
ways...
also on the space list, as was Nemesis. But I can see
Yeah,
this.
but it wasn't on my space list.
I know.
I wasn't in the space list because I'm going to do that later and do it right.
Put abyss on it. Water space.
I appreciate all of the deflecting from the Hiroshima Hex. I get it. It's okay.
I'm just saying, first of all, I'm glad you two are fighting. But secondly, there's no space here. You're on an alien. You're in some sort of base, and aliens are attacking. I don't see how this is space at all.
No, I'm not saying it is. I've never
I'm
played
assuming
Project
this is.
Elite.
I don't know, actually. This might be on Earth, and aliens invaded, but I think you're the ones who are travel through space. I don't care.
Who knows? I mean, again, it's underground.
It's a surface.
I love this idea of just stuff coming, and you are just blasting away huge, nasty creatures coming in. It might be science experiments going wrong. I don't know. I really don't know what all the aliens are, or whatever they are. You're just shooting them and having a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my number 2, Project Elite. See, I don't know what number 1s are going to be here.
Really? Well, I can tell you right now, my number 1's a crossover with you.
My number 1's also a crossover with someone here.
My number 1's also a crossover.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought Expeditions might make your list.
Well,
I think Mike and I might have the same number 1.
My number 1 is Scythe. And if I'm picking the game I would rather play right now, it's going to be Expedition. But if I'm picking the game that I think best realizes its world building, it's going to be Scythe. Right.
Which is 100% what I did.
Yeah.
This is also my number 1. I'll just spoil it now. We can get to it, later. That's fine. But
no, we can go.
Wow,
yes,
okay, cool.
I also prefer Expeditions.
Yes.
It feels less sci-fi than this. It does a slightly weaker job of putting you in there, So I'm sorry, Bruce. I picked this one.
Yeah, no. Right. Well, it looks like we basically had the same mindset going into this. This is a game that I feel just from the get-go, I wanted to be a part of this world.
Yeah.
And it was not a letdown of this is all window dressing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's I really got into, this is a game that is definitely not a role-playing game, but I found myself doing more internal role-playing in this than I do usually in board games.
Right.
That's not usually a thing I really tend to do. But this one, I was so captivated with the look of the world that I really was finding myself putting myself there more than I typically do in a board game.
And it's funny because I think you do have to do a decent amount of mental lifting because a lot of the game is farmers and farming and moving resources.
It's an efficiency puzzle.
Yeah. And so, yes, the mechs are there. They're sort of in the background, much like the image on the cover. But the rest of the tech, it's also sort of a bit of the background. It's this idea of an alternate history in which at some point things took a different turn. But if you allow your mind to do some of that heavy lifting, much like one would in Hiroshima X, then the game comes alive. And the science fiction is undeniable. Thank you.
I'm just glad y'all came together.
Yeah, no.
For the end of the list.
I didn't see this as your number one, but
this story has a happy ending.
It does. Until the nukes fall.
Yep.
All right, my number one is also a crossover, and this is the game I was mentioning earlier where Time Stories doesn't make my list because of this. Because this, to me, I put as number one because it's the most sci-fi feeling of any game I played in a long time.
Chronicles of Crime.
And Chronicles of Crime, 2040-100.
Oh, this is a crossover?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
My word, everything about this is
You were being
sci-fi.
awfully quiet while I was like, oh, okay, I guess not. I did not see this coming.
I like everything about this. I like the idea that you're talking to people and their avatars. You're like, that crazy avatar, is that mild person I just met? I don't know. But they give you clues to figure it out. But then the cybernetic upgrades, like I have something that detects if people are lying. I have a zapper I can make them angry or whatever.
Okay.
It's neat because they also give them to you over scenarios. My biggest disappointment with this is that there isn't like 10 more scenarios.
Right.
There's not enough. I want it to be in this world even more.
Yeah.
I like Chronicles of Crime. I think of all the expansions, is easily my favorite. And I thought Noir would be my favorite because I love that whole gumshoe detective thing.
Yeah.
But this just let you do so many cool things. It really immersed you in a sci-fi world. I still remember like looking at the different areas you went to. And unfortunately, this was almost like the last hurrah of Chronicles of Crime. I think they're done now with it. But man, if you like, to me, this is better than Lost. Time Stories. Sorry, Time Stories. It's better than Time Stories because each of these cases does have an ending.
Right.
And they're not all they are interconnected. You are the connection, I suppose, right? You are the same person going through
You're
each
the
one.
through line.
Yeah, but I don't care about that. You could just jump into one in the future, I suppose, and play it. And it's more satisfying. So that's why it's my number one.
Very nice.
All right.
Some people are asking about various games here. Some people mentioned Revive. I love Revive, but it doesn't feel sci-fi to me.
At all.
You know, I know you're coming out in the world afterwards.
Someone mentioned Frostpunk.
It feels like a nature game almost.
It really does.
Yeah.
I never played Frostpunk, so I couldn't speak to
Frostpunk
that.
was in the running. Yeah, it's post-apocalyptic. I just went with different dark, gritty post-apocalyptic.
We'll do top 10 in the future of post-apocalyptic. I don't think we've done that genre, but there's enough of them out there now.
I can have that done before we close out.
Exactly right, yeah.
We'll do top 10 underseas games.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought about Radlands also, and that was another one that was like in the running, but it's like I got other Mad Maxian things in here. You know?
Right, exactly.
So.
All right. There you go, folks. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is the end today of the third day of the Summer Spectacular. Tomorrow, we got some cool games coming up. You're going to play Inish with the expansion is happening.
What?
We're going to do some trick-taking games.
Yes.
The follow-up game from the designer of Heat. More top 10s, and then tomorrow we're going to end with a game show that you can play along at home and see if you are smarter than the people here in the Dice Tower studio.
Spoilers, you are.
Fine. Give it away. You're going to find out tomorrow.
I just put Abyss on my sci-fi list.
Yeah, and I said no space, but I put Beyond the Sun. Which,
okay.
Like, what is Beyond the Sun? Shut up. All right, thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zee Garcia.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
Woo!